I'm sitting here staring at a bill for $2,147. It's from a collection agency, and I have no idea how it got this high. The original debt was $1,200, but with all the interest and fees, it's ballooned into something terrifying. I'm not alone in this. Millions of people are struggling with debt, and the worst part is, they're not even sure how to talk to the collectors without getting scammed. You're probably in the same situation, getting calls and letters from debt collectors, feeling anxious and unsure of what to do. The problem is, these collectors can be pushy and misleading, making it hard to know what's real and what's not. I've been there too, and it's a scary place to be. But here's the thing, you don't have to be intimidated. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to handle those collection calls and negotiate a payment plan that works for you. Let me tell you about a friend of mine, Rachel, who was in a similar situation. She had $18,000 in credit card debt and was getting calls from collectors every day. She felt overwhelmed and didn't know what to do. But then she learned about the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act, which protects consumers from abusive collection practices. She started keeping a record of all the calls and letters she received, and she even sent a cease and desist letter to the collectors, telling them to stop contacting her. It was a game changer. The calls stopped, and she was able to negotiate a payment plan that she could actually afford. Now, I know what you're thinking, but what if I don't have the money to pay? That's a tough spot to be in, but there are still options. You can try negotiating a settlement or a temporary hardship program. And if all else fails, you can consider credit counseling or even bankruptcy. The key is to stay calm and not let the collectors push you around. Remember, you have rights, and you don't have to be afraid to stand up for yourself. Here's a surprising stat: 70% of debt collectors don't even verify the debt before they start calling. That means they might not even have the right information about your debt. So, when you get a call from a collector, the first thing you should do is ask for verification. Make them prove that the debt is yours and that they have the right to collect it. This can be a powerful tool in your negotiation arsenal. Now, I want to ask you, what's your biggest debt right now? Is it a credit card, a loan, or something else? Drop your answer in the comments below. I read every single comment, and I want to help you tackle that debt. The thing is, dealing with debt collectors can be a real crisis. You feel like you're in an emergency situation, and you don't know what to do. But what if you could turn that crisis into an opportunity? What if you could use this experience to learn how to manage your debt and take control of your finances? That's exactly what Rachel did, and it's what you can do too. Let's talk about the debt snowball method. This is a strategy where you pay off your smallest debts first, while making minimum payments on the rest. It's a great way to build momentum and see some quick wins. For example, let's say you have 3 debts: a credit card with a balance of $500, a personal loan with a balance of $2,000, and a car loan with a balance of $10,000. You would pay off the credit card first, while making minimum payments on the other 2 debts. Once the credit card is paid off, you would move on to the personal loan, and so on. On the other hand, there's the debt avalanche method. This is where you pay off your debts with the highest interest rates first, while making minimum payments on the rest. This can save you the most money in interest over time. For example, let's say you have 2 credit cards with balances of $1,000 and $2,000, and interest rates of 20% and 12%, respectively. You would pay off the credit card with the 20% interest rate first, while making minimum payments on the other one. The key is to find a method that works for you and to stick to it. And don't be afraid to negotiate with the collectors. They may be willing to work with you to find a payment plan that you can afford. Remember, you're not alone in this. Millions of people are struggling with debt, and there are resources available to help you. If that just clicked for you, hit like. It tells me to keep making this kind of content. And if you know someone who's struggling with debt, send them this video. It could be the starting point they need to turn their finances around. Now, I know some of you might be thinking, but what about my credit score? That's a great question. The truth is, your credit score is important, but it's not the only thing that matters. What's more important is taking control of your debt and making a plan to pay it off. Once you do that, your credit score will start to improve naturally. Finally, let's talk about the importance of high-yield savings accounts. These are accounts that earn you a higher interest rate than a traditional savings account, and they can be a great way to save money and earn some extra cash. For example, let's say you have $1,000 in a high-yield savings account that earns 2% interest. Over the course of a year, you'll earn $20 in interest, which is a great way to boost your savings. In my next video, How to Build an Emergency Fund on a Tight Budget, I'll be sharing some tips and tricks for building up your savings, even when you're living paycheck to paycheck. Make sure to check it out if you want to learn more about managing your finances and achieving financial freedom. And if you're ready to take control of your debt and start building wealth, consider subscribing to this channel. I'm committed to bringing you the best information and strategies to help you achieve your financial goals. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Let's dive deeper into the world of debt collection and explore some specific examples. For instance, did you know that some debt collectors use a tactic called re-aging to make your debt appear newer than it actually is? This can be a huge problem, as it can lead to a negative impact on your credit score. But, if you're aware of this tactic, you can dispute it and potentially have the debt removed from your credit report. Another important thing to keep in mind is the statute of limitations on debt. This varies from state to state, but it's typically between 3 to 10 years. If the statute of limitations has expired on your debt, the collector may not be able to sue you for it. However, they may still try to collect it, so it's essential to be aware of your rights and the laws in your state. Now, let's talk about some real-life examples of people who have successfully negotiated with debt collectors. For example, there's the story of a woman who owed $5,000 on a credit card. She negotiated with the collector and was able to settle the debt for $2,500. That's a 50% reduction. Or, consider the story of a man who was being sued by a debt collector for a debt that was over 10 years old. He was able to get the lawsuit dismissed by proving that the statute of limitations had expired. These stories illustrate the importance of being proactive and advocating for yourself when dealing with debt collectors. It's not always easy, but it's worth it in the long run. And, remember, you don't have to do it alone. There are many resources available to help you, including credit counseling agencies and financial advisors. In fact, according to a study by the National Foundation for Credit Counseling, 64% of people who work with a credit counselor are able to pay off their debt in full. That's a staggering statistic, and it highlights the importance of seeking help when you need it. So, what can you do today to start taking control of your debt? First, make a list of all your debts, including the balance, interest rate, and minimum payment. Then, prioritize your debts, focusing on the ones with the highest interest rates or the smallest balances. Next, start making payments, and consider using the debt snowball or debt avalanche method to help you stay on track. And, don't forget to take advantage of the resources available to you. For example, you can use online tools like credit score trackers and budgeting apps to help you stay organized and on top of your finances. You can also contact a credit counseling agency or financial advisor for personalized advice and guidance. Remember, paying off debt takes time and effort, but it's worth it in the long run. By staying committed, being proactive, and seeking help when you need it, you can overcome your debt and achieve financial freedom. So, don't give up, keep pushing forward, and know that you're not alone in this journey. In fact, did you know that the average American household has around $137,000 in debt? That's a staggering number, but it highlights the fact that debt is a common problem that many people face. However, It's not a problem that you have to face alone. By working together, sharing our experiences, and supporting one another, we can overcome our debt and